Mr. Guest for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff, I want to thank you for being with us today and start a couple questions with you. I see in the statement that you have prepared, you talk about the fact that you not only are elected official there in Arizona, but live very close to the border, that you and your wife will often go out at night and walk there along the U.S.-Mexican border. I have before me from the CBP website some recent statistics about addressing border encounters along the southwest border and then breaking those border statistics down into certain sectors. And it shows that overall, over the last 12 months, that in many sectors we have begun to see a brief decrease in the number of border encounters. But the statistics put out by CBP show that in the Tucson sector, which encompasses a large portion of the Arizona border, we have seen a dramatic increase in the last year. The numbers for FY23 were 322,000. For FY24, it's 452,000. So a 40% increase in that sector, as we've seen the numbers decrease in the other sectors. And so since that is an area of your state, wanted to see if you can shed any light before the committee as to why we have seen such a substantial increase. And again, that is one of the only two sectors that we have seen increase numbers over the last year. So do you have any insight as to why there in the Tucson sector we've seen a 40+% increase in encounters within the last 12 months?
Yes, as Ms. Taylor-Green alluded to, Nogales, which is in the Tucson sector, is the designated reporting accumulation area for the CBP One app. So it's the only place, the primary place for people who are claiming asylum. They're told to go to Nogales, whether they show up in Ciudad Juarez, in El Paso, or Tijuana. They're told apply via the CBP One app and go to Nogales. So a lot of people go there, then they can't get their appointment. The appointment system is full. They walk across and they self-surrender to Border Patrol. So to me, that's been the main reason for the steady numbers in that sector.
So they're being directed there by the administration? Is that correct?
That the CBP One app, which is a smartphone app for asylum seekers, is not available along the border, but in Nogales it is. So they're all directed there, whether they start out making contact in Texas or Southern California, they're directed to that sector.
And in the testimony of Chief Hinkie, he stated that one of the things that he thought that one of the things that had driven some of the surge in immigration was the decrease in detention beds. And I know that you had mentioned in your testimony, Sheriff, about the need for additional immigration judges, which I support. I support additional immigration judges because I know the statistics show that in some parts of the country that there's a 4 to 5 year backlog, and individuals, once they come across our country, their first court date at times can be as long as 4 or 5 years. And there is a substantial need for immigration judges. And so I don't disagree with that assessment. But I also agree with Chief Hinkie that detention beds are an important part of that solution. That as we have immigrants who are coming across the country, particularly many of which we are not, in my opinion, properly vetting, and I think that we have case after case of immigrants who have not been properly vetted, who have been allowed in the country that never should have been in. If we had detention beds available so that we could properly vet those immigrants and then have a process for those claims to rapidly be heard, that some of the situations that we see would not have occurred. And so what are your thoughts on additional detention beds? Is that, and I'm not saying that's the only solution. I'm not saying that there's one silver bullet, because I don't believe that. I believe that there are a multitude of factors that Congress must take into play if we are going to try to solve this problem. But do you support additional detention beds for the proper vetting and to expedite those individuals who are incarcerated and in those detention beds to be quickly brought before an immigration judge?
Yes, if I can speak a little bit behalf on the current sector chief in the Tucson sector, Sector Chief Maudlin. He has properly stated that, look, my officers aren't trained to be detention officers and babysitters, and they've had to do this detention function, and they've also been moved oftentimes on TDYs to the Rio Grande Valley and to different areas. So it's not really a function that Border Patrol was trained for. I'm sure Chief Heitke could attest to the same thing. It really should be handled by another agency. Yes, that is a valid concern, but it's not something that Border Patrol is trained for. Like Sector Chief Maudlin has always told me, I want my officers back on the line, not sitting here functioning as detention officers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm out of time, and now yield back.
Gentleman yields. I now recognize Mr. Burkeen for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Marin, did I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Marin?